Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to another match reaction show. Our last one for today. And it's finished Barcelona 1, Celta Vigo nil. Now, I didn't watch the first half because I was watching the United game. But that second half, I mean, I got to say, Barcelona very, very lucky to come out of that game, with a 1-0 win. Celta Vigo had done enough in that second half to at least draw the game. They were so disappointed with that. They probably should have even won it. But there's so many issues for Barcelona. They really are. And at the start of the season, I thought they have really good depth, to cover for injuries, cover for things like that. But they just look a little bit shaky. Things look very shaky at the back. They do. I mean, I'm surprised with the starting lineup. And then I got to talk about that, the fact that you play Marcos Alonso at left back, left centre back. And I know they're missing Kunde, they're missing probably Araujo, maybe Garcia wasn't fit to start. But Marcos Alonso is at left centre back. He's just asking for trouble, isn't it? Jordi Alba at left back again. Balde has to be right back because he's got to play, because he's got no proper right backs, because Xavi does not, for some reason Xavi does not trust Sergio Roberto to start games at right back. I don't know why. You'd rather have a left-footed right back in Balde than he'd have proper left-footed left back and right back. Now it could just be the fact that he doesn't want to. He wants to give Alba game time as well, so he wants to play him, but he doesn't want to drop Balde. So there's things that I don't think Xavi is getting the squad rotation right. I don't think he's getting that right. It does look a little bit imbalanced. The team does look a little bit imbalanced. I mean, the right back options are Sergio Roberto and Hector Bellerin. Bellerin is not exactly somebody you would trust to start right back anyway. And you got Roberto, who doesn't start games at right back anyway. So it's like two right backs who don't really start much. And then you kind of have a rotating cast of Kunde, Araujo, Balde, they all play there. So I don't think he's getting that right. I don't think he's got the squad balance right. I don't think he's getting the rotation right, and that's a problem. Pedri scored in the first half. Like, I'm not surprised that he did. He's a fantastic, phenomenal talent. I didn't see the goal. I don't know how it went in, but feel free to let me know in the comments how that goal was, because I didn't get to watch it. But I'm not surprised that he scored. I'm surprised Lewandowski drew on the blank though. I mean, he just seems, since the international break, he does look a little bit tired. He does look a little bit not at his best. I mean, he didn't score against Inter. He had a pretty frustrating game today as well. This in the second half. He had a pretty frustrating second half. So again, it could just be a blip, and that's all that it might be. But there are things there that will concern Xavi. So ahead of two very, very important games next week. There are two massive games. We'll talk about that in a second. But I thought Lewandowski was that good. But having that defense, it makes it a problem, doesn't it? When you have that sort of shape. And Celta took full advantage of that, because especially because when they're playing with two up front, because you're playing with two up front, you've got, you don't have the option to hide, where you can have one center back who's kind of free roaming, and one center half goes and like occupies the main striker. You could do that when you're playing a lone striker system. But in a two, that becomes very, very difficult. I think Alonso had no idea what to do, whether he should go forward, stay back. He's never played that position. And of course, he doesn't have that connection with Alba because they haven't played together much. So it was a whole mishmash, and it showed. It showed in the second half. Might not have shown in the first, but the second half it definitely showed. So there so many opportunities, so many times. I thought in the 84th minute that was the best chance of the game. Aspas was through one-on-one with the keeper, and he just couldn't sort his feet out. I think he took too many touches. I almost feel like he wasn't expecting the ball to come to him, and suddenly it comes to him like, oh my god, I gotta find something. So I think he couldn't sort his feet out, and so the shot was very tame. But if you'd taken it first time, I think he might have got that goal, but just couldn't sort his feet out. That was a big chance of the game. There were other chances, and I think Celta would have felt. I mean, there was one of the posts which wasn't actually offside. And there was a chance I think for Aspas, was it? I'm not sure, but he wasn't offside. It was called offside eventually, but it wasn't. So there were opportunities, and Celta just couldn't make the most of them. And Barcelona come away with 3 points that they didn't deserve. But that's the kind of game you need to win if you're trying to win the title this season. You have to win those kind of games, and that's what they did. They won that sort of game, 1-0. There are issues though. They've got to play Inter Milan, and then they've got to play Madrid next weekend. So there are massive, massive question marks. The one big question mark, of course, is who's going to start in defense, because that back four can't start against Milan, and that back four can't start against Madrid. If they try to do that, they're just going to get murdered. So they've got to find a proper back four. Maybe Eric Garcia comes in, and he played towards the end, so he comes in, and they'll probably try and get one of the right backs fit. But you can't have Marcos Alonso starting at centre back against Inter Milan or against Real Madrid. And then of course at striker, again the wingers. I didn't think Ferran Torres looked that good in the second half. He only played about 10 minutes. He didn't really shine. From what I heard, Rafinha wasn't that great either. This is what the commentators told me. Of course, I didn't watch the second half much, but he wasn't that great either. So it's a problem there as well. It looks like some players have kind of dropped off a little bit after that good start. Dembele didn't have a good game against Inter. I think he was okay, not really that great here as well. So there are things. It seems like Barcelona were really peaking, and they've suddenly kind of fallen off. They've kind of falling off the peak, and you want to make sure you're not doing that too much. This is a blip, and he's got to address it and get it back up because they need to be at their best, really, especially this week. So that's something for Xavi to think about and get there. But he can't start with that level that he started. I think that's the most important thing. That's really where it's at. And the second half had a lot of moments. I can't really speak much from Barcelona perspective because I think it was all Celta Vigo in that second half. They really did very, very well. It's surprising as well because they were playing a 3-4-1-2, so they weren't necessarily playing. They weren't necessarily matching them in midfield. They weren't necessarily outnumbering them, but for some reason they just had the beating of Barcelona, and I don't know what it was, but probably the fact that they're playing two up front and it was kind of confusing Barcelona in that second half. Maybe that's the reason. But it just looked like Barcelona were uncomfortable every time Celta had the ball, and that's not boding well. That's not boding well for them. So that's it. But at the end of the day, it's 3 points. I think that's the most important thing. So that's where that's what Barcelona will want to focus on. That you try and get through these games as well. You will have these games, of course, from time to time, and you will have to try and get points from these games if you can. And so they did that, and I think that's the most important thing. It's another 3 points. It's back on top of the table as well, ahead of the Clasico. That will give them a little bit of a psychological boost as well. So there are positives to take, of course, from the result. Maybe not, if not from the performance. Anyway, let me know what you thought of the game. Of course, as I said, I didn't watch the first half, only watched the second half. So happy to hear your thoughts on what the first half meant and how things went there. Of course, love hearing your comments. And do smash a like for Barcelona. I mean, I don't think anybody at Barcelona played that well. So smash a like for Barcelona. Smash a like for Celta Vigo. They gave a very good account of themselves in that second half. They're really good. They deserved a point. They deserved a point. In football, you rarely get what you deserve, but they deserve something and they didn't get it. It's sad. But smash a like. Smash a like. Let's give them a like, at least. They deserve a like. Celta Vigo, they deserve a like. So this smash like for them, of course. And remember to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook. We're gonna have some more. The games are pretty much done for the weekend, so we'll come back, of course, with European fixtures during midweek. So do subscribe and get notified as videos drop. We'll try to do a couple tomorrow as well, just if we can, and see what pops up. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.